She discovered an amazing secret when she married her sister's betrothed, an incredible billionaire. Amanda stood frozen as the words echoed in her mind, each syllable weighing heavier than the diamond ring clutched between her fingers. She had trudged through years of waiting tables in the local diner, thinking that art would one day be her ticket to freedom, to self-acceptance. But now, standing on the precipice of her sister's betrayal, she felt nothing but sharp disquiet. The walls of her small town pressed in around her, overwhelming her with the weight of invisible expectations. Jess had always been the golden child, the ambitious one, the one who watched their father rise early for unglamorous shifts and never blinked an eye. Was achievement really so unattainable, or had Amanda unknowingly drawn the shorter straw? As people swirled around her, congratulating her on this sudden union with Ethan, the perfect tech billionaire, conflicting emotions crashed through her mind like a tide. She wrestled with envy, that cruel reminder of her sister's achievements. She was losing her grip on her life, her art buried far beneath the lace and pearls of this new world. And yet, was she truly betraying Jessica? In those bleak moments, Amanda clung to her napkin portraits as her anchor. She could taste the ink, the bitter flavors of longing. They were a reminder that beneath the surface, she was still an artist, still Amanda. But how long could she push that truth aside? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Navigating this new lifestyle left Amanda breathless. Lavish parties, extravagant gifts roaming between elite banquets and red carpets, while her old life faded like the colors of her beloved pastels. The fear clawed at her gut, whispering that at any moment she might slip up, showing the world that she was just the waitress from that small diner, forever overshadowed by Jessica's celebrity-like sparkle. Her heart pounded against the gilded cages of her new existence, the glimmer of wealth only amplifying her isolation. And when she caught the glances of others, those fascinated, judgmental eyes, her hands trembled on the fine china, a growing dread settling deep in her stomach. What hurt the most was realizing she wasn't just torn between two lives, she was tearing apart her sister's world too. How could she embrace Ethan, when she knew it meant losing Jessica? The unease festered within her, contrasting sharply against the backdrop of laughter and clinking glasses. Would their father still see her as a daughter, or just as a traitor? She felt the tension rise and fall within her like a pendulum, swinging dangerously close to the edge of heartbreak. Just when she thought she'd begun to find her footing, her world turned turbulent, revealing hidden truths that could unravel everything, whispers of betrayal hidden beneath loyalty that could obliterate their fragile connections. In the midst of her shifting emotions, Amanda stumbled into the attic, drawn by a mysterious force. She uncovered dusty letters and faded photographs, treasures that spoke of resilience and shared struggle. They unveiled a bond linking Ethan's family to hers, casting her thoughts into a whirlwind. Could these two lives, so disparate in riches, reveal a shared legacy of sacrifice? She felt the intricate web of life entwined within each legacy, waiting to pull her under. What if finding the truth meant losing everything, the love she had for Ethan, the bond with Jessica? Everything she had built stood on the brink, and Amanda found herself standing there. Paintbrush in hand, unready for her next stroke but unable to paint over the world closing in around her. Amanda stood in the dimly lit attic, surrounded by relics of the past that spoke of a life she had never known. Each brittle letter and sepia-toned photograph threatened to unearth emotions she had buried deep beneath layers of ambition and desire. She hesitated, clutching an old, worn letter that hinted at connections far beyond what she had imagined. What had her family sacrificed? The answers seemed just out of reach, taunting her when she desperately sought clarity. Her fingers traced the delicate script, her heart racing as she read about family struggles, dreams deferred, and quiet triumphs that shaped generations. Each word dragged her into a churning sea of doubt. Was it still possible to carve her own legacy from the turmoil of their shared history? The whirlwind of her emotions heightened as she absorbed their experiences, feeling both heartened and terrified. Here lay the potential for her art, a voice she had almost silenced in the rush for acceptance within her new world. Turning the pages, she felt a surge of determination push through her unease. Amanda had long thought that artistry was her escape, a means to express herself amid the chaos of her upbringing. But perhaps art could also connect her to her inheritance, revealing facets of her identity previously obscured. A flicker of resolve ignited within her. She would not allow herself to be defined solely by her external circumstances, no matter how lavish or daunting they appeared. That evening, Amanda found herself in Nora's room, the glamour of her new life momentarily suspended. The walls adorned with exorbitant decor reflected the opulence she felt increasingly alienated from. But now, clutching the letters tightly, she felt excitement igniting inside her. The time to confront her own narrative was nearing. She decided that she would confront Ethan and ask him to share his experiences regarding the family connection. As days passed, Amanda's heart raced at the thought of her impending conversation with Ethan. Would exploring their intertwined histories deepen their bond? Or would it reveal differences too vast to bridge? She had noticed his kindness, a contrast to the shyness she sometimes felt, but even that seemed superficial, just another layer obscuring the truth they both needed to face. One afternoon, in the midst of a sun-drenched garden adorned with exotic blooms, she chose her moment. "Ethan," she began, biting her lip as she gathered her thoughts, "I found some letters that hint at a deeper connection between our families. Do you know anything about it?" His brow furrowed, and she could see the gears turning in his mind. "I've heard whispers of an ancestor's ties to your family, but I never thought much of it." "Why do you ask?" "You have to understand," Amanda pressed, her voice trembling slightly. "I feel like I'm drowning in expectations. While we wear these masks of glamour, there is something much deeper we should explore together. It could change everything for us." Ethan studied her with the seriousness she had rarely seen. The walls of their new lives felt momentarily stripped away, leaving room for authenticity to seep in. The silence stretched between them, an open invitation. Yet, at that moment, Amanda realized the stakes had just risen. Not only would digging into their family's pasts reveal truths, but it could unearth profound dilemmas, those buried resentments, hidden ambitions, and the potential ramifications for Jessica. "Are you ready?" Ethan finally asked, the question hanging heavily in the air. Amanda took a breath, realizing this was more than uncovering a family secret, it was about defining her pathway forward. "I think I have to be." What she hadn't yet explored was how intimately the lives of those she loved would intertwine with this quest for understanding. As she looked at Ethan, determination mixing with anxiety, Amanda felt the shadows of her past looming ever closer, ready to confront her once and for all. But as they prepared to dig deeper, a message buzzed on Amanda's phone, a reminder that Jessica awaited her return to the glamorous yet suffocating affair of her new life. The dichotomy of her existence pressed in on her, and with the stakes evolving, she couldn't shake the feeling that truth can be just as igniting as betrayal. What would emerge from this search for clarity, the unearthing of shared history, or the final thread that could unravel her connections entirely? The days that followed Amanda's conversation with Ethan blurred together, her mind teetering between the thrill of discovery and the weight of her mounting uncertainty. She spent her early mornings holed up in the attic, surrounded by bits of her family's history, piecing together fragments of a narrative that seemed as tangled as her own present. The more she uncovered, the more resolute she felt about embracing her artistic calling, her original passion. Yet, with each passing moment, doubt accompanied her newfound enthusiasm. She questioned whether digging deeper into their ancestors' pasts would bring solace or further complications. Ethan's quiet involvement fed her courage but loomed ominously over her as well. What exactly would she find? Would the discovery unify them or unravel the delicate fabric of their relationship? One evening, Amanda found herself at a candlelit dinner with Ethan, the rhythm of their conversation punctuated by fleeting glances that hinted at a burgeoning intimacy. The distant laughter of partygoers echoed from the lavish gathering in another room, but she felt a world apart, tethered solely to this moment with him. Taking a deep breath, fueled by determination, she broached the subject of the letters once more. "I've been thinking about what our families could reveal if we looked closely enough," she began, trying to gauge his reaction. "What if their sacrifices and dreams could guide us in our own choices?" Ethan paused, his fork hovering mid-air, contemplating her words. "You're right. I hadn't considered it that way." A flicker of realization danced in his eyes as he set the fork down. "It's like they could be speaking to us. Perhaps part of their legacy is pushing us to explore who we are, not just what we've inherited." His perspective sent a jolt through Amanda's chest, invigorating her with fresh resolve. "Exactly. We shouldn't just be spectators of our family history. We need to craft our own stories regardless of their expectations." Ethan leaned forward, intrigued by her fervor. "What about Jessica? What do you think she would say if we were to dig into everything we've learned?" Amanda felt the unease return. Jessica, her sister, whose path seemed so different and yet entangled with theirs, brought forth another layer of complexity. Would her sister view this exploration as a betrayal or as an invitation to heal their fragmented family? Jessica might see it as challenging everything we've been told about our family. Amanda's voice wavered as she contemplated her sister's reaction. "But if we frame it as a way to honor those who came before us, then maybe she'll understand," Ethan interjected, a newfound fire igniting in his voice. "It could be a bridge instead of a divide." A realization swirled inside Amanda, intensifying her determination. This journey hadn't merely become a chance to understand their past, it was morphing into a potential path for reconciliation. If they could approach the truth with an open heart, they might forge stronger connections with each other and with Jessica as well. Just then, the glow from her phone illuminated the table, a reminder of their world's demands pulling at her attention again. A message from Jessica flashed on screen: "We need to talk. It's important." The simplicity of the message reverberated with foreboding. What could be so urgent? As Amanda's heart quickened, she exchanged a glance with Ethan, both of them sensing the gravity of the situation. They were on the brink of something transformative, yet another layer of their reality threatened to intervene. "Do you think she knows about our research?" Amanda whispered, resting with a swell of fear and urgency. "I don't know," Ethan replied, furrowing his brow. "But whatever it is, it feels significant." Amanda felt a rush of resolve rush through her. The time had come not only to confront her family's past and their shared legacy but also to navigate the present with Jessica. As they prepared to face this new dimension of their relationship with her sister, Amanda gathered her courage. No matter what happened next, she had finally begun to understand the intricacies of her own legacy and the artistry it could inspire. "Are you ready to hear her out?" Ethan asked, and Amanda paused, her heart racing at the uncertainty of how deep their family ties truly ran. With breath caught in her throat, she responded, "I have to be." Just as they steeled themselves for what lay ahead, Amanda felt the depth of a new realization coiling within her. Digging into the past could uncover not only the roots of their families but the hidden truths bound to reshape everything they thought they understood. Would this pivotal moment bring them closer together, or would it threaten to unravel the very threads they had begun to weave? Amanda's heart raced as she set her phone down, the message lingering in her thoughts. The weight of her sister's words hung in the air as if they were thickening the atmosphere around them. She could feel the urgency settling within her, intermingled with her determination to uncover the family history that had, for so long, remained shrouded in secrecy. Ethan, noticing the shifting tides of her emotions, reached across the table, his fingertips brushing against her hand. It sparked a momentary comfort, a reminder of their shared journey that had taken root in the depths of uncertainty and fear. "What are you thinking?" he asked softly, concern weaving into his tone. "This could unravel everything," Amanda confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. Jessica could reject all of this exploration we've begun. Her mind swirled with images of their childhood, the fragments of memories laced with both laughter and tension. What if she sees it as an insult to what we've known? Or maybe she'll see it as a pathway to understanding, Ethan countered gently, unyielding in the face of her reservations. We can't predict how she'll react. But it might create the opportunity for real dialogue between you two. His faith in her was a balm, yet the knots in Amanda's stomach tightened. She had come so far in her exploration of her family's stories, but facing Jessica felt like standing at the edge of an abyss. Would she leap into the unknown or turn away in fear? Taking a deep breath, Amanda grappled with the idea of vulnerability. The thought of laying bare the fragile threads of their family history made her hesitate. Yet she realized that this was the crux of her personal development, to confront not only her fears but also the potential beauty of uncovering truths that could redefine relationships. She had to prepare herself, to embrace the reality that the journey could be both painful and illuminating. "Let us talk to her tomorrow," Amanda finally declared, her voice stronger than she felt. "I'll arrange a time to meet. We'll approach it together, and maybe we can find a way to frame it that honors what we both need." Ethan nodded, his expression reflecting a mix of pride and concern. Reconciling the past is never easy, but it might be the most vital part of your relationship with Jessica. Remember, you want to honor those who came before while also stepping into your own truths. As they cleaned up after dinner, Amanda leaned into Ethan's words. He was right. Navigating family dynamics was rarely straightforward, but avoiding the conversation could create more strife than it would prevent. The idea of uncovering deeper connections held an allure that she couldn't resist, even doled out with uncertainty. That night, unable to sleep, Amanda took to her sketchbook. She remembered how art had always been her refuge, a tool with which to express unspeakable feelings. With every stroke of her pencil, she outlined scenes reflecting both the complexity of her family and her inner turmoil. Each sketch was a visual representation of her resolve to transform doubt into a narrative that bridged her past with her present. The next morning, Amanda had a renewed vigor. She would not only confront Jessica, she would embrace what it meant to be vulnerable in this journey of discovery. With every chapter of history she unearthed alongside Ethan, she knew a piece of herself was salvaging hope for a more cohesive future. On her way to meet Jessica, Amanda's mind buzzed with the possibilities. What story would surface from their conversation? Would they strengthen their bond or bring forth criticism and despair? As she stood outside their meeting spot, uncertainty gripped her. Would this discussion reveal the hidden talents she had yet to embrace? Would she be able to confront the moral dilemma of facing truths for the sake of family, even if they broke her carefully constructed narratives? Standing tall, Amanda realized this moment was more than a conversation. It was a potential turning point that could pivot her entire understanding of family, identity, and reconciliation. Settling into her resolve, she was ready to face the drumming heart of the hidden complexities that lay ahead. And as the door swung open to reveal Jessica, uncertainty morphed into determination. The moment had come to confront the shadows that lingered over their relationship. Would the truths they unearthed be a treasure, or a tragedy? Amanda inhaled deeply before stepping inside, the warmth of the room contrasting sharply with the cold sweat that had begun to gather on her brow. Jessica sat at a small, round table, her posture rigid, fingers intertwined as if holding onto something invisible. Recognition flickered in her eyes when she saw Amanda. For a fleeting moment, it felt as though they were children again, sheltered from the complexities of adulthood. "How long have you been waiting?" Amanda asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "Not long," Jessica replied, her tone measured. "I've been thinking about everything you mentioned." Amanda could see the gears turning in her sister's mind. It was clear both of them had arrived at the meeting with trepidation, but there was also an unspoken necessity hovering in the air, urging them to uncover the truths lurking in their shared history. "Do you remember when we used to play in the backyard, pretending we were explorers?" Amanda prompted, seeking to bridge the gap between present anxiety and their childhood innocence. Jessica offered a small smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. Yeah. We were detectives, uncovering hidden treasures. I always thought we'd find buried gold. Maybe we're searching for something even more valuable now, Amanda suggested, coaxing herself into boldness. What if instead of gold, we're here to discover our truths? The smile faded, replaced with skepticism. Truths? What do you mean? With a determined flicker in her eyes, Amanda began to share her thoughts about their family, the layers of secrecy entwined within their lineage. She spoke of the stories she had uncovered, the fragmented narratives piecing together their heritage. It felt liberating to finally voice the uncertainties that had tethered her for too long. The air between them palpably shifted, and she hoped it was for the better. And what makes you think I want to dig that up? Jessica interjected, her voice suddenly sharp. Maybe I'm content with what I know. The past doesn't have to come into play, Amanda. Amanda felt a flicker of disappointment but quickly steeled herself. But isn't that part of understanding who we are? If we embrace our family's history, we might understand each other better. A silence enveloped them, and Jessica's expression hardened. Amanda saw the walls go up, a familiar but unwelcome sight. Pain surged within her, but she pushed aside the impulse to retreat. Instead, she leaned forward, willing to expose her vulnerability. I'm not here to hurt you, Jessica. I just want to make sense of why things have been so uneasy between us. Uneasy? Jessica echoed, incredulity curling her lip. You mean everything has been effortless for you? Frustration swirled through Amanda. No, it hasn't. I've been grappling with these questions alone, unsure if you'd even care. I don't want you to carry that weight as well. Jessica turned away, her gaze penetrating a distant memory. I didn't ask you to carry it for me. You don't have to fix this. By now, doubt shadowed Amanda's spirit, but she reframed her narrative in her mind. Instead of fixing, she wanted to illuminate, to explore together. I know you don't want to feel burdened by this, but we're stronger together. Isn't that what family is about? For a moment, the storm within Jessica subsided. You don't understand, Amanda. Some things are easier left in the dark. What if the dark isn't for hiding? Amanda challenged gently. What if it's where we can finally discover who we truly are together? Jessica's gaze hardened, but conflict flickered briefly in her features. Amanda pressed on. I have faced my fears, Jessica. Are you willing to face yours? The air crackled with tension as Jessica contemplated the road ahead. Would they delve into the heart of their family history, or would fear triumph over connection? Their paths were diverging, yet Amanda felt that a monumental shift was on the horizon. There was another layer of history they had yet to explore. Could they leverage these revelations into a newfound understanding, or were they destined to remain at odds? As Amanda braced herself for her sister's response, she couldn't shake the notion that perhaps the past held not just answers, but also secrets that might change everything. Would any of it lead to reconnection or deeper fractures? The truth of their journey was about to unfold, and Amanda couldn't let fear dictate their fate any longer. Would they seize the moment, or would it slip through their fingers forever? Amanda's heart raced as Jessica's silence stretched, an uncomfortable void filled with uncertainty. It was a weight she could no longer ignore. The tension was a tangible force pulling at the remnants of their childhood bond. Just as she thought she might collapse under it, Jessica finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. What if we dig, and what we uncover is worse than we imagined? Amanda rubbed her hands together nervously, provoking the budding resolve within her. Then we face it, together. Whatever it is, we tackle it as sisters. We've been running from it for too long. Visibly torn, Jessica exhaled sharply, resentment and fear coiled tightly around her thoughts. Maybe you're the one who needs to face this because you're the one who thinks it all means something. A flicker of defensiveness rose within Amanda. Why did Jessica assume dissent meant apathy? I care about our family, about us. I've seen the shadows of our past and want light to shine there. It's not just about digging up dirt, it's about understanding. Silence enveloped them again, but it felt different now, thick with potential. Jessica's defenses remained, but Amanda sensed curiosity just beneath the surface. It was a small opening she couldn't resist exploring. I've started talking to Grandma Ellen, Amanda said, her voice gaining strength. There are things I never knew. Stories that might change everything, how we see ourselves, how we see each other. Don't you want to know? Jessica's brows knitted together, skepticism still etched onto her face. And what happens if we find out things we don't like? What then? That's the point. Amanda replied, her determination surfacing. We grow. Every revelation doesn't have to be a burden. It could be a breakthrough. Don't you want to reclaim our narrative instead of being haunted by it? Her sister's gaze darkened momentarily. Amanda took a deep breath, feeling the heat of vulnerability course through her. This wasn't merely about family history, it was about accepting their shared humanity, the fear and hurt that accompanied every secret. Jessica, we've been in a self-made prison for too long. All this time I thought you were refusing to connect, but maybe I was the one holding on too tightly to how I thought you should feel. I haven't given you the space to process this in your own way. A flicker of surprise crossed Jessica's face, the vulnerability that Amanda displayed opening a crack in her defenses. Her shoulders seemed to relax ever so slightly, but the bond between them remained fragile. So what does that look like? Jessica asked quietly. What if I'm not ready? Then we take our time. No rush, Amanda proposed, wrapping her words in tenderness. But the door needs to be open. And I want us to choose to walk through it together. Jessica stared at the table, her expression a mixture of contemplation and anguish. In that moment, Amanda realized how fragile their relationship had become and just how diligently they needed to nurture whatever flickering embers of connection remained. As the minutes ticked by, Amanda's resolve steeled further. She understood now that their journey wouldn't just require courage but also patience and understanding. In a softer tone, Amanda offered, let's start small. Maybe I can bring Grandma over for coffee? Just to listen and share stories. No expectations, just talking. Jessica hesitated, grappling with her own fear of revisiting familiar terrain. I'll think about it, she finally said. Despite the uncertainty of her sister's response, Amanda felt an unexpected sense of relief. She'd taken a step toward connection, a step that felt both terrifying and empowering. Change, she understood, doesn't happen overnight, it's a gradual process. But within that process lay the potential for strength forged in understanding. Amanda left the cafe feeling lighter, each breath deeper, her heart daring to hope for what lay ahead. Yet even as she stepped into the world outside, uncertainty loomed. Could they navigate the heavy fog of their history? And in their journey of exploration, would they unveil truths that would be liberating or destructive? Their family's past held its breath, waiting just beyond the threshold. Amanda's feet carried her down the bustling street, the barista crowd noise dissolving into an indistinct hum that mirrored her thoughts. There was an urgency in her heart now, propelled by their last conversation, a palpable tension mingling with her burgeoning hope. As she walked, she realized that both she and Jessica stood at a crossroads, with their family history stretching ahead like an uncharted map. As she approached Grandma Ellen's house, Amanda nearly turned back. Fear crept in. What if exposing their family secrets yielded only discord? But she inhaled deeply, reminding herself of her commitment to uncovering the truth not just as a necessity, but as an act of love toward herself and Jessica. What if this was the moment she needed to catalyze change, to reconcile pain with understanding? She pressed the doorbell, anticipation prickling her senses. The door swung open, revealing her grandmother, whose warm smile seemed to illuminate the shadows of Amanda's doubts. They exchanged pleasantries, the kind that warmed the soul yet skimmed the surface. Amanda admired the small trinkets decorating the house, family portraits, relics of the past, standing as reminders of lives lived, stories untold. "Come in, dear. I made your favorite," Grandma Ellen said, ushering her inside. The aroma of cinnamon and fresh coffee enveloped her like a comforting hug. As they settled into the familiar embrace of the kitchen, Amanda felt a surge of familiarity in the little things: the scale of Grandma Ellen's hands, the sound of her favorite kettle, even the way she placed the sugar on the table. Yet amid this comfort, Amanda's resolve sharpened. She was not here merely to indulge in nostalgia but to invoke truths. "Grandma, there is something I want to talk about," Amanda began hesitantly, choosing her words like a tightrope walker navigating a high wire. "Jessica and I have been thinking a lot about our family history. About the things that were buried and that we need to confront." Her grandmother's expression shifted, fleetingly tight with concern. "Some stories are better left untold, dear," she cautioned gently, her eyes steeped in the wisdom of endurance. But Amanda pressed on, her voice steadier now. "I feel like we've been living in this shadow, Grandma. I want to know the truth, no matter how painful. I believe facing it is the only way forward." Ellen sighed, leaning back against the counter, weighing her granddaughter's words. Her gaze drifted to the window, seeking answers in the sunlight filtering through the leaves. After a moment, she nodded, unease knitting her brow. "All right. But no, it may be harder than you think." In the simmering silence that followed, Amanda's heart raced. The moment was pivotal. This was not merely about uncovering distant family secrets but also a deliberate choice to reshape her identity. How would she, Amanda, emerge after receiving the weight of these revelations? "I'm ready for whatever awaits, Grandma," Amanda declared, her determination rooted deep. "Let us start with you. What stories have you kept?" As her grandmother prepared to share, Amanda felt the gravity of her decision settle within her, waves of adrenaline coursing through her system. Each word from her grandmother felt like a brushstroke painting over the canvas of their familial history, exhilarating yet daunting, darkness intertwined with rays of sunlight. The tales flowed, rich and colorful, revealing layers of pain and perseverance. Amanda listened intently, absorbing the essence of her past. She could sense the veil of secrecy lifting, and with it, the sprawling potential for transformation within her own soul, and within her sister. However, just as the afternoon sun spilled into the kitchen, illuminating hidden documents of their family history, Amanda realized she hadn't prepared herself for the possibility of confrontation. A disquieting question echoed in her mind: what if the truths uncovered painted them in a light they never anticipated? What if delving into the past would not only expose shared pain but also fracture their present? The stirrings of doubt began to gnaw at her confidence, yet within that uncertainty glimmered the possibility of empowerment, a flickering light urging her not to turn back as they ventured into unexplored territory. And as Grandma Ellen began revealing the first startling secrets, Amanda wondered, would these revelations deepen her bond with Jessica, or serve to widen the chasm between them further? The gravity of the moment anchored her thoughts, a precarious balance hanging by a thread. Would she be ready for what lay ahead? Or would this journey yield devastating truths that could unravel the delicate fabric of their sisterhood? As Amanda leaned forward, her focus sharpened on Grandma Ellen, who seemed momentarily lost in thought. The kitchen, filled with the comforting scent of fresh coffee and spices, faded into the background as the weight of the conversation loomed large. "Long before your mother married, we had a family secret," Grandma Ellen finally began, her voice low and steady. "It's intertwined with your mother's early life and our entire lineage. It's not easy to discuss, but I think you deserve to know." Amanda's heart raced. Would this revelation be a tale of strength or a wound that would deepen their familial scars? She felt the pulse of uncertainty hammering in her chest. "I'm listening, Grandma," she urged, willing herself to confront whatever history awaited her. Ellen took a deep breath, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her coffee cup. "Your great-grandmother, my mother, had a life that was not merely mundane but filled with choices that shaped our family's path. She fell in love with a man she could not have, for he was destined for someone else, a union set against the backdrops of social expectations. As Ellen spoke, Amanda's mind raced ahead. This wasn't just a story of romance or intrigue, it hinted at themes of unfulfilled dreams and societal restraints. What happened? The man, Jacob, was engaged to another woman, but my mother was consumed by her love for him. In an act of desperation, she eloped with him, and they lived quietly in a small town. When the truth surfaced, the weight of their actions shattered everything. The engagement was called off, and Jacob's family ruined our name, Ellen shared, her voice faltering for a moment. Amanda paused, her thoughts colliding. A tale of forbidden love touching her own context, a relationship that, while messy, had a shadow resonate between generations. Would she too endure the burdens of choices made out of love, only to find herself constrained by reaction? Then what happened? Amanda pressed, feeling the need to journey deeper into this fracture of history. After a year, her heart shattered when Jacob returned to his fiancée. She grieved, left alone with the secret of her betrayal, which was buried beneath layers of fear and shame. She raised your grandmother under that weight. And every woman after her carried that hidden pain, Ellen said, her gaze turned aside, as though the weight of honesty was a tangible force. Do you think this will happen to Jessica and me? Amanda felt a swell of panic, echoing with her fears of discovering betrayal, doubt, and hearts lying in ruins. Would their quest for knowledge bring them face to face with scars yet unwritten, brewing storms from the very core of family ties? Ellen's eyes met Amanda's, a flicker of understanding passing between them. It doesn't have to. Awareness of our family's stories can empower you to make different choices. You can create your path sometimes, the shadows we've inherited can be transformed into a guiding light. Amanda wrestled with her thoughts. This truth reiterated the urgency to face her relationship with Jessica, alongside the weight of understanding that tales from their lineage might bring hidden talents or weaknesses to the forefront. Perhaps illumination would not fracture their bond, it could forge new connections and realizations. The afternoon light dimmed as they continued their conversation, Ellen now sharing her own struggles and triumphs. Each anecdote felt like a thread, weaving their hearts closer, yet Amanda grappled with a looming question: would the past silence their sisterhood or elevate it to new heights? And amidst these thoughts, Amanda felt a transformative shift within herself, recognizing new competencies. A quiet determination echoed in her soul. But as she felt her resolve strengthen, a chilling thought crept in: what if Jessica's own struggles with the truth were more profound than her own? For the first time, Amanda contemplated the path ahead, steeped in both hope and apprehension. With each revelation, she was becoming not just a listener but an active participant in rewriting her family's narrative. Now confronted with the decision, would she approach Jessica with the courage she had summoned against all odds, or would the burdens of the past threaten to unravel their sisterly love as it had for generations before them? The following morning found Amanda restless, her thoughts churning like a tempest. Dawn had barely broken, yet she could already feel the momentum of her decision pushing against her. Sitting on the edge of her bed, she replayed her conversation with Grandma Ellen, dissecting each word and weighing the implications. Today would be pivotal. It was time to confront Jessica. Facing down her fears, Amanda realized that every moment spent in hesitation was a moment stacked against their relationship. She envisioned sitting across from Jessica, the air thick with unspoken rules and inherited shadows. Would honesty break their bonds or fortify them? The preparatory hours ticked by, and Amanda meticulously dressed, wrapping herself in a blend of confidence and vulnerability. She slipped into her favorite blazer, a soft navy that exuded professionalism, and felt a small sense of empowerment as she caught her reflection. But even that assurance was undermined when she recalled her grandmother's story. Would her own love story echo the heartbreak of her ancestors? As she drove to the cafe where they agreed to meet, the weight of the past pressed heavily upon her shoulders. She sensed the undeniable threads of history weaving through her life, connections stretching back generations, a lineage of choices shadowing her path. Inside her mind, doubt flickered like an old incandescent bulb. If Jessica reacted poorly to the truth Amanda was determined to unveil, would their paths diverge as they had in the past? Arriving early, Amanda ordered a latte and settled at a corner table, where she could observe the ebb and flow of people outside. They seemed so relaxed, completely unaware of the emotional turmoil swirling within her. How simplistic life appeared in that moment, devoid of heavy legacies and complex truths. As she stirred her drink, a frustrating realization struck her. The ghosts of her family's past surrounded her, each ancestor's choices recreating echoes that felt nearly tangible. When Jessica entered, the familiar rhythm of her sister's laughter filled the air, a stark contrast to the turbulence circling in Amanda's heart. Jessica embraced her with warmth, but Amanda felt herself pulling back. It wasn't just the revelation weighing her down, it was the unspoken expectation of companionship. How could she jeopardize that with uncomfortable truths? They exchanged pleasantries, but Amanda could barely taste the sweetness of their reunion. Her mind was consumed with questions. What if Jessica felt betrayed? What if the burden of a hidden truth became another fissure in their bond? "Are you okay? You seem a bit off today," Jessica remarked with a tilted head, concern painting her features. Leaning back, Amanda took a breath. This was the moment. "I need to talk to you about something important," she said, each word laden with gravity. Jessica cocked an eyebrow, curiosity piquing her interest. A thick tension enveloped their table like fog, the kind that beckoned deeper truths. As the conversation unfolded, Amanda braced herself, revealing her family's history, the weight of ancestors now pouring onto their table. Would transparency create a path forward, or trap them in the past? For every revelation, Amanda's heart raced, echoing her fear of how each truth might fray the bonds between them. "This is deeper than just family secrets," she added, voice tinged with urgency. "It's about the choices we make and how they shape our lives." Jessica's expression shifted, the warmth replaced by a flicker of apprehension and something else: intrigue. "What are you trying to say?" The openness of that question hung there, vibrant and foreboding, amplifying the stakes of their conversation. "I think we might have more lingering emotions than we realize. Like those choices from long ago," Amanda hesitated. "I want to ensure we learn from our family's past instead of repeating it. I don't want to lose you." The silence that ensued was palpable, each sister lost in their labyrinth of thoughts. Would they emerge deeper connected or shredded by unspoken truths? As Amanda awaited Jessica's reply, a sensation of foreboding slipped into her consciousness. Whatever Jessica's reaction was, acceptance or resistance, Amanda now faced the reality that some legacies couldn't be ignored. Would their sisterly love withstand the weight of disclosure? Or had she just sparked a collision that could reshape their bond forever? As Amanda sat across from Jessica, tension crackled in the air, thick with the ghosts of their family history. Her heart pounded in her chest, and uncertainty swirled around her, a storm teetering on the edge of chaos. Jessica's eyes narrowed, studying Amanda with a mix of curiosity and hesitation. "Amanda, what are you getting at?" Jessica's tone wavered, revealing a blend of apprehension and defiance. The stakes had risen dramatically. This wasn't merely about family secrets, it was about their relationship and the path they had been navigating. "It's about understanding, Jess," Amanda began, her voice steadying as confidence branched out from her core. "What I've uncovered about our family's past could change how we see each other. I want us to confront it together." Jessica leaned back, arms crossing over her chest, shielding herself from the vulnerability shed like autumn leaves. "You think this is easy? What if we stumble upon something terrible?" Amanda's resolve deepened, the light flickering with conviction. "You said it yourself, we need to know what legacy we're carrying. We can't let fear dominate our relationship. We owe it to ourselves to process everything openly." A momentary silence enveloped them, the din of cafe chatter swirling around like an uninvited participant. Amanda felt a sense of déjà vu. She could almost see the childhood they had shared, filled with laughter before shadows of resentment crept in. There was still some comfort in the familiarity of their bond, but it teetered at the brink. "Fine," Jessica conceded, tension sharpening her voice as if coaxing a reluctant animal from the brush. "What exactly did Grandma say?" With a calmness that belied her inner tempest, Amanda recounted Grandma Ellen's stories, tales of unfulfilled dreams, love that transcended boundaries, and the heartbreak that fractured a lineage. Each carefully chosen word became a brushstroke painting the contours of their shared legacy, one that once wide and bright had, over time, become confined by unspoken hurt. "But I'd like to think we're different from them," Jessica interjected, her expression a mix of defiance and vulnerability. "I don't want to inherit sorrow. I don't want to see us repeat those mistakes." "Jessica, this is the first step," Amanda pressed, emboldened by the growing warmth of her own conviction. "If we understand the past, it can liberate us. We can redefine what family means to us rather than being bound by it." As their eyes locked, a burgeoning understanding ignited between them. Amanda sensed a shift in Jessica, a crack in the wall that separated them. Jessica's gaze softened, hints of intrigue emerging as her defenses began to crumble. "Okay, what do you suggest?" Jessica gestured loosely, her curiosity overriding her reservations. "Let us create something together, make art that celebrates both our dreams and the truths of our past," Amanda proposed, feeling exhilaration surge to the surface. "We could combine our stories and create a project that encapsulates our family history, but also who we are now. A way to express where we've come from and where we want to go. And maybe that would help us heal," Jessica added slowly, the gears in her mind visibly turning. "Art has always been your language, maybe it could bridge the gap between us, too." Amanda's heart soared, realizing that perhaps the path to satisfaction wasn't hidden in isolation, but rather within collaboration, the transformative power of vulnerability shared in between strokes of creativity. Days turned into weeks as Amanda and Jessica pored over their family story, their shared experiences swirling into a colorful tapestry. They gathered anecdotes, sketches, and letters, blending them into artwork that told their tumultuous saga of love, loss, and resilience. Through late nights filled with laughter and tears, Amanda watched as Jessica slowly began to peel back the layers of her own fears and insecurities. They stood together at one point, painting a mural on Jessica's wall, a visual representation of their journey. Amanda had never seen her sister so illuminated with creativity, embracing the truth without fear. As the mural came together, Amanda felt an evolution within herself. She was no longer resentful of Jessica's seemingly perfect life. She had learned to love her sister in a profound way, acknowledging their shared struggles and embracing the unique talents they offered one another. Finally, on a soft summer's evening, they stood before the mural, bathed in the warm tones of sunset. The artwork symbolized not just the fractured narratives of their family history but also the transformative journey they had undertaken together, a tangible manifestation of their triumphs and realizations. "I'm proud of us," Jessica murmured, her eyes glimmering with newfound strength. "So am I," Amanda replied with a smile that resonated from her core. In that moment, both sisters felt the power of their bond reignite, no longer marred by the shadows of the past but illuminated by a shared understanding of what it meant to choose connection over fear. Each could finally embrace their own identities intertwined with those of their family, emerging with the solid confidence and recognized competence gleaned from their collaborative journey. With profound satisfaction, Amanda realized she had achieved what she once thought impossible, a robust sisterhood built on empathy, honesty, and acceptance. They were transformed individuals, poised to face the world with creativity and resilience, ready to craft their own legacies. The cycle of pain and avoidance had finally been broken, not through harsh confrontation but through the gentle act of art, forging a pathway lit by love and understanding. As they stepped back to admire their mural, Amanda felt fulfilled, truly seen and recognized, finally standing in her own power. This was the moment they had worked toward, this was their masterpiece. Now, it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true fans of personal overcoming stories understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.